All right, welcome back, and we begin this segment with tonight's Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day. Comes to us from the Chicago Blackhawks, and they put out something that was very, very interesting, and a slap in the face to Marc-Andre Fleury. New friends, new threads, but look at how they spell Fleury, Paul. F-L-U-E-R-Y. It is E-U-R-Y. So they get a Vezina winner. They get one of the best goalies in the game, and they misspell his name, even though I bet 100 people had to look at that before it ever got sent out. And then, of course, it's been taken down.
Well, I'll just say this, Bob. As a sports reporter, sports writer, whatever, I probably have made that mistake a few times over the course of, 15, 17 years, however long it's been since he's been in the league. I probably have made that mistake once or twice, so I can't kill them, except for the fact that I always had an editor.
It's the team.
Right.
Come on. That's your guy you just brought over here, made a big to-do about.
Right, but I always had an editor that caught it for me, so I didn't get, hammered for it. But I mean, like I said, I might have made that mistake once or twice in my career.
All right, real quick, before we go to the lines, yes or no, TJ Watt signs a mega deal before September the 12th?
I mean, I think so, and if he doesn't, then I think that's a real problem, because that tells me that the Steelers might be going down the path that they had to go with Le'Veon Bell, and for the same exact reason, which is the guaranteed money. That seems to be the hang-up here, and T.J. Watt's basically saying, hey, all these other guys got, $100 million guaranteed. Why wouldn't I want to take that as well? I certainly hope that it gets done, because then, Bob, and you saw with Le'Veon Bell how ugly it gets once you start talking about franchise, tagging a guy and all that other stuff. That never seems to end well if a guy wants a big long-term deal. I think if you really believe he's your MVP and all that other stuff, then you need to sign him and give him what he wants.
Yeah, and I think they will. The fact that they restructured another contract today, and Joe Schobert tells you they have some money to try and clearly get something done, and I don't think he'd be there. Even though he's not practicing, I don't think he'd be there if he didn't think it would get done. 412-575-2600. To the lines we go. Line one, West Deer is our destination. We got Fishner on the line. Hey, Fish.
Hey, it's Fishner, Bob, but I'm glad to talk to you guys. My topic of conversation tonight is Antonio Brown. In the situation, I mean, everybody's blowing up this, publicizing it so much about him at practice. I mean, I played JV football. I played varsity football. I mean, it was just a practice. I mean, he blew up. And, I mean, Bruce Arians did the right thing, and he said, hit the showers, kid.
Yeah, the only thing is that he ripped his helmet off, and he also then took a punch and hit him in the face. I know that happens. It does in sports. You won't see much beyond this today because it was fresh in everybody's mind, and the pictures were there. No video was allowed. But Paul, it's it's a competitive kind of situation. So, to me, I agree. It's nothing more than that. This is a team that returns every one of its starters, and I'll tell you what: if I were a betting man, Antonio Brown could get in that lineup if one of those other two receivers gets hurt ahead of him, and he could have a big year.
Well, and I think the other thing is, if it wasn't Antonio Brown, it would be a non-factor. I mean, two teams had a joint practice, and a receiver and a corner got into a little fisticuffs. I think Antonio Brown is always going to be just a polarizing figure, and everything he does is going to be blown up. But this one, to me, Bob, doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal.
I agree. Let's go to Fred in North Huntington, who joins us right now live on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Fred, the stage is yours.
Bob, I'm floored. How was you able to get Mr. Zeise on, the living legend, on a Thursday night here? I can't believe it.
I haven't seen Paul forever. I'm happy to talk to him. So yeah, normally it's Friday or Saturday, like he says, but Pony's off this week. Muller's been on 3 nights, so Zeise is here, and I'm glad. You have a question?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about the Cedars division a little bit. I think it's obviously a lot tougher than it's been, for the last couple of years when they have been able to mop up on Cleveland and Cincinnati. They're not going to be able to do that anymore. My gut feeling is I think they're going to go 3-3 in that division. From that point, Bob, you got to go 8-3 to get to 11 wins. I'm not sure they can do that with this schedule. Do you see them as a serious threat in the AFC, as a contender to Kansas City and maybe Buffalo? I think, they're going to sneak into the playoffs, but I don't see them as a serious threat, and I want to hear your guys' opinion.
I think it all depends on the offensive line goes. If they are better than advertised right now, they're young, they have a bunch of new guys in different positions. If they gel and play well, Paul, I'm sorry, I think this offense could be as good as any in the AFC if that happens. If it doesn't, it could lead to problems, turnovers, interceptions, and a lot of hits on quarterback Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, I'm starting to get concerned about the center position, Bob. I mean, everything I'm reading and hearing about and talking to guys like Ray Fittipaldo, looks like Kendrick Green is kind of getting manhandled a little bit and pushed around. I mean, obviously he's young, he's got talent, but he doesn't have a lot of experience, and he's undersized. So to expect him to come in and be, ready to start immediately, I think that might be asking a little bit much. And then you go to somebody like Zeise Hasenauer, who's kind of just an average guy, I guess. Left tackle to me is another question. I know Chuks Okorafor has played some, but he played on the other side. He was very inconsistent. So, Bob, you hit it on the head. I don't know how anybody can sit here and say this team can't compete, but I also don't know how anybody can say this team definitely is going to compete. I have to see this offensive line play and play 4 or 5 weeks together before I really start to talk about how good I think this team can really be.
Yeah, this is why I think Najee Harris is so important to them. While they do develop, and it may take some time, and there may be missed opportunities blocking scheme-wise, we saw in Philly last week a couple of plays where, he came in and it looked like he was trapped, and he spun away from it. He had this knack in Alabama to do exactly the same thing, where he can turn something that looked like nothing into a positive. He may have to do that a lot in the first couple of weeks of the season. All right, let's go out to Frank in Beaver Falls. Frank, thank you for joining us.
Gentlemen, how are you?
What's up?
Hey, Paul. First, real quick, if you don't mind, Paul, what's your lowest score at Cedar Brook there, sir? And then also, I want to get your matchup in Week 1 there. If you guys could break down the Week 1 versus the Bills, that'd be great.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Go ahead, Paul. Cedar Brook.
Well, there's 2 courses there. On the red, I've shot 81 there, and on the gold, I've shot 86. So not bad. I'm still working on it. I'm not in your category yet, Bob, but I'm working to get there someday.
You know what? No matter how you work, you never get to where you want to get. I'm telling Starkey there, who was down on himself today. He got a new driver, and I guess he didn't hit it very well. And, I saw his reaction. I said, you can't get down on yourself in golf. Anyway, as far as the first week, I mean, that's going to be a tough test only because it's on the road in an environment that a lot of young players. I think communication is going to be a problem. I expect Buffalo to win that game just because I think right now they are one of the teams to beat, and I think they're going to be more ready to go than the Steelers with their offense, which I think is going to take a few weeks.
Well, I mean, again, what exactly was the question again?
He just wants to find out.
I was so
the first week breakdown. How do you see them doing in Buffalo?
I was so focused on my golf scores that I forgot what the actual question was. The Bills, I think, are going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. We just talked about the offensive line, Bob. You've got a brand new center who has never played, and he's played 4 total games at center in college. You've got a left tackle that really struggled last year at times on the right side. I think you've got a right tackle who's coming off a pretty serious knee injury. I just don't know that it's realistic to think they're going to go up there and be ready to play and be able to play against a team like the Bills right out of the chute. So I think it's going to be a tough ask. But I think if you look at weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, they've got some chances to win a bunch of games there. I just think it's going to be hard to go up there and play, in week 1.
I agree with you. That's a schedule they can take advantage of for the first 6 or 7 weeks before their bye, whatever it is, and then it gets much more difficult. But by then, you hope their offensive line has a lot of experience together and is gelling at the right time. We're going to take a break. We have Pete, Dave, and Matt on the line. We have lines open for you. 412-575-2600. Back with more right here on Pittsburgh's CW.